practice shoes. Now, this is one that I really wanted to talk about because there's an age-old saying that says practice makes perfect, doesn't it? And it's all well and good if what you're doing is the right thing for a start. The way you're doing it is the right way of doing it. And then there's a third concept of, is it right for you? Okay, so when we say practice makes perfect, so say for example, and my thing is, it's not useful if what you're doing is repeating the same and doing it the wrong way. Okay, so first of all, are we wanting to do it in the first place? Let's get clear about that, because you know we've got to we are so overwhelmed, ladies, that we've got to get real clear about, is this even something I want to be doing? So like if I'm learning tennis when I actually want to be learning squash, why am I even doing tennis in the first place? So a lot of people will say, oh, but Vix, yes, I do that anyway. But sometimes, you know, honestly, they don't. It's like, well, everybody else is playing, and that's what all my friends do, so that's kind of what I do, you know. But it's, you know, I don't really want to be doing it, but I feel like I have to. You know, it's that kind of thing. So it's like, if you are doing things that you don't even want to be doing in the first place, don't even go down the road of learning the practice. Don't become really good at doing something you don't want to do. And I see this in business a lot. I remember this one guy saying to me, and it was classic. He said, if you keep on doing the same thing over and over, and you don't like it, you just become really good at what you don't like. And I thought that's so true. How about that? I mean, isn't that so true? It's like, I'm going to get really, really, really skilled at something I really hate. Why are we doing that? Wrong path. Maybe flipping good at it doesn't mean you love it, which is why I've got this whole thing about aligning your passion with your path, so that you can actually make money from it, which is what the Prosper Mums is all about. Okay, so it's all about, you know, being clear. There's one thing about having a path. There's another about being skilled on that path in a particular arena, like I was just saying. So it might be, for example, that accounting thing. You may be really good at figures. You may be really good at doing books because you've had to, because, you know, there was a need in that business that you happen to be working in, and by default that you sort of knew what you were doing, you landed up with that job, and now you've become really good at it and everybody depends on you. So you've kind of fallen into that role, but it wasn't something that you particularly chose to do, right? So you've practiced and practiced and practiced, and yes, you perfected the art of being, you know, good at bean counting, but you're desperately unhappy. Okay, not a great practice. So like, why did you waste your time practicing stuff? So that's one of the things I loved about that concept, was that it's like, why don't we practice the things that we're really good at, that we really love, that we naturally want? So this is where I talk about your alignment with your purpose, with who you really are, so that, you know, who am I? What am I really here for? Is a deep question. So this is one of the things we're going to explore in my Prosper Mums Club stuff, which is finding your path, finding the true path that you actually want to be on. Like, how do we achieve that? And I got to tell you, a lot of it has to do with the work of this channel, of getting clear about what your shoes are, what works for you, what doesn't. You don't want to be refining your skills in something that you really don't want, and then, you know, years later regretting it. Like getting to the end of your life going, I really wish, and then fill in the gap. You know, I really wish I had done this, or I at least tried to, you know, have done this. So at least, even if you've tried and it didn't work, you know, at least you tried, which is better than now you're not capable of doing it because you're too old or whatever the case might be. So practicing something in an arena that's not serving you is it's no point to anyone, right? It's like, what's the point of doing that? So getting clear on what the practice is. Then it's like practice making perfect. If you're learning the wrong strategy over and over and over again, is that going to make you a better person at that skill? Is it going to improve your skill? Yes or no? No, it's not. Or it could be, but if you're learning the wrong way, no, you're just going to learn how to be a bad player. So this is why I always say, find the best. Like with my Prosper Mums Club, I'm finding the best in the business for passive earning. Like and I'm approaching them. I'm not always going to get a yes from them, but I'm going to ask them and see if that they will come and share their knowledge with us so that we can learn and model from the best. So the practices that we adopt early on are ones that are already successful. There have been proven track records of success. And I can't tell you how, I see so many people rushing off and they model the wrong person. Or, like there was one classic. I remember a guy who, he had a failed business and he went into teaching. He bought a system off the shelf and he decided he was going to coach people to have successful businesses, yet he had failed in his last two businesses. So no track record there, no proven skills. So learn from the best. And then if you're doing the same thing over and over again, like Einstein says, it's the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over expecting a different result. If it's not working, you've got to change that strategy. You've got to change what you're doing, haven't you? So practice doesn't make perfect in that sense, because you're doing it wrong to begin with and you're modeling the wrong person. So find the right person to model. Like if you want the best to be the best tennis player, learn from the best that you can find, that you can afford to find even, or maybe there's online lessons that you can do that would cost less, even if it wasn't one-on-one. Find a way to do that. Practice. If you're not getting it right, don't do the same old if it's not working. You got to be flexible. Get your flexibility shoes on. Have your where you stretch your boundaries, but in a different way. And yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable to begin with, but at least you're learning the strategy and the techniques in the best way possible, which is like, again, it's like the Prosper Mums Club. What I'm going to be helping mumpreneurs, want to be mumpreneurs, is how to earn, but from guys who've made it, or ladies who've made it, only in passive earn. That's it. That's their bag. And they've had all the trials and errors and the mistakes, and we're going to compress it into a short space and go, right, what worked, what didn't work, do this, don't do that. Okay, that's a good strategy, right? It's got a right model. We've got proven success. They're going to shortcut my way to where I want to go. Let's do it. I'd sooner, pay them and learn from them. Yes, they're probably going to be a bit more expensive than if I try to wing it on my own. And it's just like, yes, you can wing it on your own. You're going to make, it's going to take you 10 years as opposed to 1 year or 2 years. If that's what you want to do. If you've got time, which most mums and busy ladies do not have, we're overwhelmed to begin with. You don't have time to go and sift through all those different options. But when you can get specific and you can go, right, that they work. VICKI Jane said that, I've already done, I'm doing the work for you. I've already done it. And it's like, right, these ones work. This has worked. And they've made, like there's one lady who's made $82 million from her passive earning enterprise. I reckon she's cracked it. She's got a good strategy, right? So I will sooner learn her strategy and sooner practice makes perfect on her way and maybe adapt it to how it works for me, so it fits my path, than to say use somebody who's cheaper, who's local, who's had moderate success, or where I'm winging it on my own and I'm doing a lot of wrong and practicing that over and over and over again until I go, oh, I keep seeming to hit that same brick wall. Maybe I should change my direction here and then change my technique. Yeah, I could do it that way, but it's going to take for friggin' ever. So I'd much rather go this way, which is shortcut to success as quick as possible. Give me the tool. Tell me what systems I need. Tell me what, methodology. Tell me what strategies you use in order to do it, and see how we can adopt it for what I'm doing. So this is the whole idea, is that, practice, get your practice shoes on, get the right practice shoes on, not the wrong practice shoes on. Hope you found that useful. Really critical for, especially, I find this very common. People think they're going to save money by doing it on their own. And the reality, honestly, is that it's going to cost them more, both in money and in time. Okay. Two things that I can tell you right now, mums, ladies do not have. Okay, we're already overwhelmed. We fool ourselves into thinking that we've got time to do it. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, I'm going to save money. I'm not spending, X amount of whatever it is, dollars on learning from that person. I'll do it on my own. And then 5 years later, they still have an unfinished product. It's not making any money. It's cost them quite a bit. I know one lady, thousands of dollars, just sitting half baked, okay, and not really knowing where to go. And it adds to the overwhelm, doesn't it? So just, my thing is, let's cut all that crap out, excuse the language, and let's go straight to what does work, hey, and how quickly can we get here. And that's the whole idea around the Prosper Mums Club is going to be, where it's with like-minded mums going in the right direction, going, right, okay, that worked, that didn't work, what worked for you, celebrating the wins on the way. So anyway, I hope you found that useful. It's all about getting you in your shoes, on your path, going your own way, and I hope you found that useful. Namaste.